reawakening because they were political,
Yeah.
they were artistic collaborators. My mother ran a theater and cooked the breakfast and knew where we all were.
That marriage wasn't his marriage to her. I'm not really sure about how solid that was.
Every day, I bring you another story from Hollywood's golden age, the kind of stories that shaped an era no one can forget. If you love keeping these timeless memories alive, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, but it means the world to me. Now let's dive in. At 64, Paul Newman's daughter is finally breaking her silence about the whispers that have followed their famous family for decades. For years, rumors about the Newmans drifted through glossy magazines, gossip columns, and those secret late-night conversations among Hollywood insiders. Some of those tales were lighthearted, almost charming, but others hit deep, hinting at struggles hidden behind closed doors. Behind Paul Newman's signature smile, there were untold stories, private emotions, and guarded truths the public never saw. So what happens when his daughter, someone who actually lived through it all, decides to speak out? Is she searching for closure? Is it about setting the record straight? Or maybe it's a reminder that even behind the brightest spotlight, there's a real family facing both fame and its heavy shadows. The truth isn't simple.
Yeah, but there's some quite there is trauma. There is such a thing, and some of the trauma was trauma light, and some of it was really, really heavy stuff. So she was recovering from her own trauma, and she passed that on.
It's layered, emotional, and far beyond what any headline could ever capture. This story digs into family loyalty, the pressure of growing up under fame, and what it truly means to carry the name of a Hollywood legend. Follow along as we uncover the journey of Paul Newman's daughter, the life she built for herself, the truth she revealed, and the rumors she finally addressed. And it all begins far away from red carpets and camera flashes, in a peaceful Connecticut town where tall pines meet the ocean breeze from the distant shore. The Newman family home wasn't built to impress anyone. It was cozy, humble, and full of heart. It wasn't about glitz or glamour. It was about keeping life real for 6 kids growing up in a world that constantly watched their father's every move. The kitchen table wasn't just for meals, it was where everything happened. School talk, charity plans, and quiet chats about Paul's next movie role all blended together like one big family meeting. Paul Newman's daughter grew up surrounded by both normal life and wild fame, a mix that shaped her from day one. On one side, she had school bells, messy hair, and Sunday dinners that felt like any other family's. But on the other, there were red carpets, flashing cameras, and a father whose face was everywhere, from magazine covers to movie posters shining across America. Old photos show her dressed simply, hair pulled back, offering shy smiles at public events where every glance was captured. She figured out early that her last name wasn't just a name. It carried weight, it drew attention, sparked conversations, and came with pressure she never asked for. At home, her dad made one rule clear: stay humble no matter what. Even with global fame, Paul Newman believed in chores, respect, and giving back to the community. He made sure his kids knew that fame didn't make them better than anyone else. And then there was her mom, Joanne Woodward, the family's steady force. Friends say Joanne worked hard to protect her kids' peace and privacy, reminding them that kindness, school, and simple joys mattered most. People couldn't stop talking about the Newmans, the marriage, the money, and what life was really like behind those closed doors. The rumors just never seemed to end. For a young girl trying to figure out who she was, all that noise was confusing, but it also taught her a lot. She learned early on about strength, hard work, and how to face the spotlight without letting it control her. Those lessons stuck with her all the way into adulthood. What started in the quiet corners of Connecticut soon got pulled into the harsh light of interviews, gossip columns, and constant questions that refused to disappear. When your last name is Newman, attention comes whether you want it or not. But for Paul Newman's daughter, fame was never her dream. It was something she had to learn to handle with grace. From early on, she stayed close to her father's world, but made sure not to get lost in it. As a kid, she'd sometimes tag along to movie sets, standing quietly at the edges while her father worked. Picture this: a little girl watching directors shout orders, lights flashing, and crews rushing around while her dad transformed into a new character right before her eyes. To her, it looked incredible, not because of the fame, but because it was just her dad doing what he loved. It wasn't glamorous or wild, it was work, plain and simple, just like any parent heading to their job every morning. But to everyone outside that family bubble, interviewers, classmates, even strangers at the grocery store, there was always one big question. What's it really like to have Paul Newman as your dad? With time, she figured out how to answer all those curious questions without revealing too much. Calm, respectful, and always in control. That quiet composure became her first real performance, not under stage lights, but in everyday life, where her last name always carried a certain weight. Her big turning point came when she decided to step into creative spaces on her own terms. She began working in theater, giving back through charity, and taking on behind-the-scenes projects that let her shape something personal and meaningful. Slowly but surely, her own voice began to rise above the family legacy. People might have shown up because of the Newman name, but they stayed because of her. She wasn't copying her dad, she was carving her own vision, seeing the world through her own creative lens. Friends still recall one unforgettable night, her first solo theater performance. The venue was small, maybe a few hundred seats, with wooden floors that creaked under every step, and the faint smell of fresh paint from the new set pieces. The lights dimmed, the crowd went silent, and she walked onto that stage with her heart pounding. This time, the applause wasn't for Paul Newman, it was for her. Real, earned, and completely her own. That moment hit deep. It was the spark that changed everything. From that night on, new doors started opening. She wasn't just known as Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward's daughter anymore. She was her own artist, building a name built on effort, values, and purpose. No shortcuts, no fancy headlines, just pure dedication. The work was tough. Long rehearsals in cold, drafty rooms where lines were practiced again and again until they sounded real. Sets were built by hand, with everyone from the actors to the crew pitching in to make it happen. There was nothing glamorous about it, but that was the beauty of it. It was raw, demanding, and exhausting, yet every bit of it felt honest. Her colleagues still talk about how she always showed up early, stayed late, and gave her all, whether she was performing for 50 people or 500. That kind of consistency earned her real respect, and her drive didn't stop at the stage. Just like her father, who started Newman's Own to support charitable causes, she put her heart into advocacy and community work too. She understood that having a public platform comes with real responsibility, and she took that seriously. She spent her time supporting local programs that helped children, promoted the arts, and lifted up families who needed extra support. From small-town community centers to school stages and charity events, she showed up not for fame, but for purpose. Her presence wasn't about flashing a big name. It was about lending her hands and heart where they mattered most. People saw that she wasn't chasing attention. She was building genuine connections and making a difference. In one interview, she said something powerful. If you want to reach someone, you've got to understand where they're coming from. That belief shaped everything she did, not just her creative work, but also how she handled the long-running whispers that surrounded her famous family. Her focus was never on firing back or chasing headlines. She cared about building a life rooted in truth, consistency, and kindness. But let's be real. In a world that's obsessed with drama and spectacle, no famous family escapes the rumor mill, and the Newmans were no different. For decades, tabloids, online gossip, and even casual conversations recycled stories about what it was really like behind their closed doors. Some of those stories sounded harmless, even curious, but others hit deeper, twisting details and leaving long shadows. Still, those whispers stayed around long enough that eventually someone had to set the record straight. At 64, Paul Newman's daughter finally decided to address the speculation, calmly, one piece at a time. The first rumor cluster focused on her parents' marriage, the legendary bond between Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, often called Hollywood's golden couple. They spent more than 50 incredible years together in an industry known for short-lived love stories, a record that seemed almost too good to be true. But behind all that praise, there were skeptics who questioned if their picture-perfect image could really be real. People whispered about supposed distance, quiet struggles, and private challenges that never made it in front of the cameras. According to Paul Newman's daughter, the truth behind all those rumors was far less explosive than people imagined. Sure, her parents dealt with real pressure. Raising 6 kids while juggling demanding careers isn't easy for anyone. And yes, work sometimes pulled them to opposite coasts for long stretches of time. But as she confirmed, the foundation of their marriage was built on something solid: daily respect, loyalty, and love that lasted through every challenge. They argued, but they stayed. That simple truth said it all. The idea of a fragile marriage quickly faded once people saw the reality. 2 people choosing to stand by each other through every storm instead of walking away. Then came rumor cluster 2, the so-called mystery of the Newman family fortune. With Paul Newman's fame and the huge success of Newman's Own, people assumed his kids must have grown up surrounded by endless luxury. Some even whispered about family money battles or secret inheritance drama behind closed doors. But here's where the real story flips the script. While the family lived comfortably, Paul Newman chose to use much of his success for good, channeling huge portions of his earnings into charity instead of piling up wealth for his heirs. Newman's Own was built to give back, and that mission ran deep in the family. His daughter finally set the record straight, saying, "We weren't raised to think the money was ours. Instead, they were taught to find their own path, build their own success, and live with purpose, not entitlement." The rumor of entitlement eventually faded, replaced by a reality built on responsibility and generosity. The Newman legacy wasn't about wealth, it was about giving back and making an impact that actually mattered. Then came rumor cluster 3, the supposed tension among the Newman siblings. Big families always draw curiosity, and with 6 kids, people were quick to assume rivalries, jealousy, and hidden rifts behind the scenes. Some even claimed certain children were favored while others were left out. Stories that only grew bigger with every retelling. The big question that everyone kept asking was, did growing up under fame cause cracks that never really healed? According to Paul Newman's daughter, the truth was a lot more layered and a lot more human. Sure, the siblings argued sometimes. They had disagreements about life choices, personal goals, and how to handle the pressure of carrying such a legendary last name. But she made one thing clear: those family ties never broke completely. There were moments of distance, yes, but they always reconnected. As she put it, we always found our way back. That one statement changed how people saw the family. The image of lifelong feuds faded into a more honest picture of a family that, like any other, faced challenges but held on to love and loyalty through it all. It wasn't perfect or polished, it was real. And then came rumor cluster 4, the supposed battles of Paul Newman. For years, fans speculated about his health, his personal struggles, and whether the charm they saw on screen matched the man behind closed doors. So how did Paul Newman's daughter handle those deeply personal questions with both honesty and grace? She chose to face them head on, confirming what was already part of the public record. Yes, Paul Newman had his own struggles earlier in life, something he later spoke about openly and honestly. She never denied that those challenges affected the family, but she highlighted something the rumors often ignored: his strength to confront them and grow beyond them. This wasn't a story about weakness or scandal. It was a story about accountability, perseverance, and the power of a family that stood together. What the gossip always left out was the journey, the determination to change, and the love that made that transformation possible. Over time, Paul Newman redirected his life towards clarity, purpose, and giving back to others, and that evolution became one of the things his family admired most.
For his daughter, the lesson wasn't about shame, it was about resilience. As she put it, he was human, and that's what made him stronger in our eyes. That raw honesty gave people a new way to see her father, not as a flawless movie star, but as a real man who grew, learned, and led with integrity. When you stack up all the old rumors about the marriage, the money, the siblings, and the personal challenges, the truth ends up being far more grounded and inspiring than any headline ever told. Now, at 64, Paul Newman's daughter has made it clear there was never a perfect fairy tale, but there was love, effort, and a lasting commitment to doing what was right. Some details, she believes, deserve to stay private, especially the quiet family moments that belonged only to them. The Newman family story doesn't play out like a scandal. It feels more like a glimpse into what it means to be truly human. Every family faces moments when private life collides with the public eye, when something deeply personal suddenly becomes everyone's conversation. For Paul Newman's daughter, that moment didn't happen under bright lights or at a movie premiere. It came quietly, in the wake of heartbreak. In September 2008, New England was sliding into autumn. Crisp air, turning leaves, and the calm kind of beauty her father always loved. Then, the world changed forever. Paul Newman, a legend to millions, but simply dad to her, was gone. The loss hit hard, and the grief was real. But mourning didn't happen in peace. Within hours, reporters gathered near the family home, cameras flashing, headlines flying faster than anyone could keep up. Stories started spinning immediately about his estate, about family relationships, about the future of Newman's Own and its charitable mission. For his daughter, still trying to process her father's passing, the sudden wave of public attention made an already painful time even heavier. It was like standing in the middle of a storm with no place to take cover. Every rumor suddenly sounded louder. Every old whisper got repeated as fact. And that's when something inside her shifted. She realized that silence could no longer guard the truth. For years, the family had relied on privacy to protect what mattered most, but now that quiet shield wasn't enough. Through interviews and thoughtful public appearances, she started setting the record straight about who her father really was and what he stood for. Family, kindness, humility, and truth. Those were the pillars of Paul Newman's life. She spoke openly about how most of his fortune was directed toward charity, completely shutting down the old myths about family disputes or inheritance drama. She also confirmed the strength of her parents' bond, a marriage that lasted more than 50 years, grounded in loyalty and respect, not tabloid headlines. Most importantly, she brought back the human side of Paul Newman. Behind those famous blue eyes and that unforgettable Hollywood smile was a real man, one who had flaws, who faced challenges, but never stopped working to be better. Her goal wasn't to chase attention or stir the media. It was about protection, about preserving her father's legacy and her family's right to live with dignity and respect. Over the years, that honesty shaped how she carried herself in public. She stopped being seen as just Paul Newman's daughter and became something bigger, a bridge between legend and truth. She learned that if you don't speak up, rumors have the power to twist history, and she refused to let that happen. By speaking carefully and compassionately, she turned speculation into understanding.
She made sure the Newman family story wasn't remembered as gossip, but as one of love, resilience, and integrity. Even now, at 64, she stays intentional about what she shares with the world. Instead of chasing constant attention, she built a life that gives her space to breathe, to reflect, and to give back without the non-stop glare of cameras. Friends describe her as someone who finds joy in simplicity. Her mornings often start with a quiet walk, sometimes through the tree-lined streets of Connecticut, other times along the coast where the salty breeze rolls in from the water. These walks aren't about making a statement, they're about staying grounded, taking a moment to reconnect with herself and the world around her, far away from flashing lights or headlines. Family still sits at the center of her life. She talks about her siblings not as rivals, but as her roots, people who truly understand what it means to carry the Newman name. When they gather, it's never about fame or film. It's about good food, stories, and laughter echoing around the dinner table. The real legacy of Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward isn't measured in trophies or movie posters. It's found in those simple moments of connection, where love and gratitude take center stage. And just like her father, she keeps charity close to her heart. She continues to support causes that strengthen communities, sometimes by speaking at fundraisers, other times by doing it quietly behind the scenes. Whether she's mentoring young artists or helping local schools, people say she always chooses impact over attention. For her, privacy isn't just a choice, it's a principle. She said that growing up in the Newman household taught her the importance of protecting what's sacred. While the world endlessly speculated about her family, she learned something powerful: that the realest moments in life don't need an audience. Birthday celebrations, late-night talks, quiet acts of love. Those memories didn't have to be shared to matter. Her life still reflects that same value her father spoke about so often: humility. Behind all the glitz of Hollywood and behind the rumors that once surrounded them, she carried herself with quiet strength. Her story proves that the calm, unflashy truths last far longer than any headline ever could. Carrying Paul Newman's name was never simple. Every move she made, whether stepping onto a stage, working at a charity event, or showing up to support her community, was noticed, judged, and compared. Some of the criticism was subtle, whispered in the form of comparisons to her father's legendary career. Other times it was more direct, reporters asking why she didn't chase the spotlight harder, or tabloids suggesting she wasted her famous name. But here's the twist. Most of those assumptions came from screens and magazine covers, not from the real life she was living. The public expected her to follow the same glittering Hollywood path: big movies, red carpets, bold headlines. But the truth couldn't have been more different. Her reality was built around dedication, long theater rehearsals, creative projects, and community work that rarely made it into the news. While others chased fame, she focused on craft, substance, and giving back, quietly proving that legacy isn't about how loud the world claps for you, but how real your impact truly is. She chose craft, family, and giving back over chasing fame, and that decision defined her entire path. She once explained how the world of television really works. What looks like a smooth, natural interview on screen often takes hours of setup, lighting tweaks, and multiple retakes. Even those so-called candid moments, most are carefully planned. Viewers think they're seeing the full story, but really, they're only seeing what someone wants them to see. That understanding changed the way she handled criticism. She realized that a lot of public judgment wasn't even about her real choices. It was about the image people projected onto her. Some of the criticism came from fans who misunderstood the Newman family's generosity. Many assumed Newman's own profits were kept for personal gain, when in truth, every bit of it was directed to charitable causes. It hurt to see genuine kindness twisted into something negative, but instead of reacting with frustration, she learned to stay calm and clear. When people got it wrong, she didn't snap back or try to fight every rumor. She simply explained the truth with patience, letting facts speak louder than emotion. Of course, the pressure never really went away, but perspective kept her steady. She understood that television, magazines, and online media thrive on drama and exaggeration. Her father's advice always echoed in her mind: choose your battles and let the rest pass like the weather. For Paul Newman's daughter, the reality was simple. Her life wasn't a performance meant for ratings or attention. It was genuine, thoughtful, and lived completely on her terms. She stayed true to what really mattered: her craft, her family, her dedication to helping others, and the quiet integrity that carried her far beyond the pull of fame. Her life has always been about choices, some seen by the world, most made in private, and the courage to stand by them no matter what. At 64, Paul Newman's daughter stands in a space where legacy meets independence, and she's completely at peace with it. She's no longer defined only as the daughter of a Hollywood legend. She's a woman who has lived fully, worked hard, and chosen carefully what parts of her life to share and what to keep sacred. These days, her lifestyle may be quieter, but it's anything but idle. She's still deeply involved in the charitable work that continues her father's mission, helping others and making a real difference. Newman's Own still pours millions into programs supporting children, education, and health initiatives, and she's often right there at events keeping that vision alive. When she speaks, her words don't sound like polished Hollywood talk. They're genuine, grounded, and deeply respected by everyone who listens. And lately, she's found her way back to her creative roots in small, meaningful ways, joining local theater projects, supporting community art programs, and taking part in speaking events that give her a chance to share her insights without the blinding spotlight of national media. People who've attended these gatherings always say the same thing: she's warm, humble, and approachable. There's no sense of ego or fame, just a woman who's proud of where she came from, clear about who she is, and still guided by the same values that made the Newman family name so admired in the first place. She doesn't play the role of a Hollywood daughter. She's long past that. Instead, she listens, connects, and shares her experiences like any other person trying to make sense of life. When people ask if she's planning a big comeback, maybe a memoir or a larger presence in the entertainment world, she keeps things open-ended. Nothing's confirmed yet, though there are quiet hints she's been writing personal reflections, not as a tell-all, but as a heartfelt tribute to her parents and the lessons they passed down. Her actions in charity and the arts still speak louder than any book or interview ever could. These days, her life is built around balance, spending time outdoors, enjoying peaceful evenings with family, and finding calm in the simplest routines. After decades of carrying the weight of gossip and speculation, she's discovered something powerful. Real peace doesn't come from fighting rumors or chasing headlines. It comes from living honestly. And while the internet still loves to speculate, she's learned to not answer every whisper. She's already shared the truths that matter most, and everything else, she believes, belongs quietly to her family's own memories. At 64, Paul Newman's daughter stands in a space where legacy meets independence, and she's completely at peace with it. She's no longer defined only as the daughter of a Hollywood legend. She's a woman who has lived fully, worked hard, and chosen carefully what parts of her life to share and what to keep sacred. These days, her lifestyle may be quieter, but it's anything but idle. She's still deeply involved in the charitable work that continues her father's mission, helping others and making a real difference. Newman's Own still pours millions into programs supporting children, education, and health initiatives, and she's often right there at events keeping that vision alive. When she speaks, her words don't sound like polished Hollywood talk. They're genuine, grounded, and deeply respected by everyone who listens. And lately, she's found her way back to her creative roots in small, meaningful ways, joining local theater projects, supporting community art programs, and taking part in speaking events that give her a chance to share her insights without the blinding spotlight of national media. People who've attended these gatherings always say the same thing: she's warm, humble, and approachable. There's no sense of ego or fame, just a woman who's proud of where she came from, clear about who she is, and still guided by the same values that made the Newman family name so admired in the first place. She doesn't play the role of a Hollywood daughter. She's long past that. Instead, she listens, connects, and shares her experiences like any other person trying to make sense of life. When people ask if she's planning a big comeback, maybe a memoir or a larger presence in the entertainment world, she keeps things open-ended. Nothing's confirmed yet, though there are quiet hints she's been writing personal reflections, not as a tell-all, but as a heartfelt tribute to her parents and the lessons they passed down. Her actions in charity and the arts still speak louder than any book or interview ever could. These days, her life is built around balance, spending time outdoors, enjoying peaceful evenings with family, and finding calm in the simplest routines. After decades of carrying the weight of gossip and speculation, she's discovered something powerful. Real peace doesn't come from fighting rumors or chasing headlines. It comes from living honestly. And while the internet still loves to speculate, she's learned to not answer every whisper. She's already shared the truths that matter most, and everything else, she believes, belongs quietly to her family's own memories. At 64, Paul Newman's daughter stands in a space where legacy meets independence, and she's completely at peace with it.